Good morning, everybody. It is Ruthie Rocks, and it is windy out there today. Yeah. Put on my spectacles here and get started. Beautiful day in windy city here of Las Vegas. It is going to get up to 50-mile-per-hour gusts today. Whew. I know I had to go outside and put all my pillows so they couldn't be blown into the pool. Don't know if y'all have that problem, but it's terrible when they get saturated, isn't it? What is going on in Las Vegas, and what can we take away from what's going on in Las Vegas? Because I hear from all over the country that things are a little different. And we always say we live in paradise because our market is really, really good. Y'all are selling 97 homes per day. 97 homes per day. And now last year, of course, crazy year that it was, you were selling 128 homes per day. 97 is fine. I think 97 is fine. 100 anywhere. When we get into that 100 range, I think we're doing pretty much 200 sides plus the new homes are out there. So hopefully people are making a good living building their real estate business. We have 45 days of inventory, kind of been hovering around that for a while. And you all listed 164 single family homes since Friday. And that is 70 of those were 450,000 and under. So that is just fantastic. Let's see, that's 31% of the market in the median price range. That's pretty good. And we're selling them. Y'all are selling them. 97 sales a day. So you're selling them. And Mr. Albright, please turn that off. Wanted to make mention of this again. If you haven't heard me say it 100 times, we have a very diversified market. If you look at the $1 million homes that have sold, we're selling $3.7 million homes per day. So quiet, please. So anyway, that's 31% of our market is the 450,000 and under. And then the $1 million homes are 16% of our market. And the investors are 23% of our market. And then everybody else kind of falls in those other areas. And that would be 450,000 up to $1 million is the rest of the market. Not bad at all. One of the things that you all have requested, which I did. Let's see, let me get you down here like I like to be. Okay. I took the stats and I broke them into separate PDFs for you, or JPEGs, and you can print these out, and then depending on who you're talking to, or maybe you want to have multiple sheets of paper or whatever it is, but it might be easier for people to focus if they are just looking at one stat at a time. So I did the $1 million stats there. We've sold $611 million homes so far this year, million plus, and again, 16% of our market. And then let's see, that behind this one and show this one. This is the investor sales. This is a recap of the investor sales. And I went back. I know that the MLS recently, I don't know if it's once a quarter or how often they do it, but every once in a while they go back and they kind of go through what we call the MLS IDX feed. And sometimes things change, which January to March changed for some reason. And it lowered us. I think the other day we were at 3,500. Now we're back down to 3,400 investor sales, non-owner occupieds. Now I'm not so sure how that gets changed. I have no idea. But it did change for the first quarter. Anyway, we're still doing 21 sales a day to those investors. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. And that is almost 24% of our sales. So moving right along here, what do we have here? This is the previous year's sales totals. Last year, we averaged 101 sales per day with a median price of $430,000. 2021, which was quite a year, we were doing 139 sales per day. But the median price then was $386,000. And of course, the interest rates were obscenely low. And here we go with the year-to-date sales compared to last year. And last year was 88, and the year before was 121. So let's see what else we have here. Month to date. So June last year, we were doing 128 sales a day. This year, we're doing 97. I talked about that earlier. Not bad. That isn't really bad at all. And let's see what else. Here is the daily recap of Las Vegas real estate activity as we reported first on the show. This says how many available homes we have in the separate categories, and then how many we listed since Friday. So that's where I was saying earlier, we listed 164 single family homes total. And of those, 70 were in the 450,000 and under price range. It's not bad. This has been holding steady. So what that means, everybody, is you all are out there listing, and people are listing their homes, and people are buying homes. So there's various lender programs out there for people to buy down the rate. Have the seller contribute to that sometimes. There are, a lot of people pay cash for their homes. I know that everybody thinks everybody's out there getting a mortgage, but no, everybody's not out there getting a mortgage. There's a large percentage, it's more than 30% of homeowners own their homes free and clear. And I think it is 40 some percent have their home equity is 50% of its value. So that's pretty strong. So, people do have money, and a lot of the money that people have right now, they made in the past several years as the prices went up. They went down a little bit, but not drastically down. And they've been holding pretty steady. So people have made money. We've shown you the appreciation chart. We've shown you the equity people have. And so when you're listing a home where someone, they've really made 18%, what's that, in 2021, they made 18%. Well, they might want to give a few $1,000s to that buyer to buy down, and then you play it forward. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with our market. And I want to talk a little bit today about the rentals. So, whoops, wrong one. Wrong one. Where's my rentals? Where are my rentals? Okay. So here we go, rentals. So in 2022, year to date, meaning through June 19th, we had rented 10,736 homes. That was about 65 a day. And back then, the median rent was $2,350. Well, this year, we're doing 74 rentals a day. Now, this is probably an indication of the interest rate. If there's any indicator of the interest rate being high for some people and knocking those first-time home buyers out of the market with a down payment and so on and so forth, because they weren't around to get equity in the past 3-4 years. So they have to save their money to put their down payment down or get a gift, or hopefully they have it in savings. But in any event, the median rent hasn't changed much, $50. And what I wanted to say is when I listened to Brian Lazine, he talks about, of course, he gets pretty deep into how the 10-year bond affects the interest rates, and what Powell is going to say with when I think last week he gave his little recap of where the market is, and inflation isn't as bad as they expected it to be, so on and so forth. So in any event, I think that we may see some first-time homebuyers coming back into the market maybe next year, because it seems to me that what I'm hearing, reading between the lines, and again, there's many, many different economists out there predicting different things, but the factor remains that inflation is kind of holding. So I think that Powell says, real estate is one of the most important parts of their formula when they determine how many basis points they're going to lower or raise the rate. So we shall see, because in other parts of the country, prices are going down. We are a small speck on the map when it comes to competing against, the Californians, the New Yorks, the Chicagos, the Floridas. And so the fact that our prices have gone up a little bit and our rent has gone up a little bit, I don't think really impacts what the feds do with the interest rate. But we're in a very nice spot here. The rentals haven't changed that much. And the only thing that's changed is more people are renting. And that's good for the investors. And there is more of a turnover now as well, because when we had COVID, people weren't moving. So now you see more of the turnover, people being in their rental 2 to 3 years, and maybe now they want to lease a bigger home. They might not want to buy, but they want to lease a bigger home. So that affects the rental market as well. And I think I had one more chart here. Let's see, did we show everything? I think we showed everything. Cool. Very good. All right. Well, today, what is going on with us today? That isn't it. I don't want to write it. Let me find my. Come on. There we go. There we are. Here we go. So today what I wanted to talk about is your business. And if you're a new agent, and I have been talking to a lot of new agents lately that are thinking of getting into the business or starting to, let me say it this way, I have talked to a lot of agents, not necessarily new, but a lot of new agents too, but they're wanting to build their business, not just be in real estate, but build their business in real estate. So I just want to tell you, when you think of the three little pigs, right? So the one little pig built his house out of straw. The second little pig built his house out of sticks. And the third little pig built his house out of bricks. Well, this is what you need to think of when you're building your business. You have to have a good foundation, and the materials you use and what you do impact that business exponentially. So hopefully, I have 10 marketing tips here so that you could hit the ground running as a new agent in real estate, or someone who has maybe been laying back and waiting for things to change, which they change all the time, but depending on when you're going to get back on the train. But let's see if any of these things appeal to you. So if you're new or relatively new, you should have a strategic competitive edge. And the only way to do that is you're probably thinking, well, I'd trade time for money. Because right now, if you're a new agent, you have lots of time. And the reality is that hopefully you'll trade the time for money if you focus on the right activities. And we're going to talk about that today. The work you do and the time you have a direct correlation in the terms of what it produces for you as far as your results go. So your question is, what will you do with your time to give you the highest and best return on that time in terms of growing and scaling your business? Now, I use the word scaling, very, very important word, because if you don't put systems into your business, you can't scale. What's one of the systems you need to have? A database. A database is a system. A database is a system whereby you put items into fields, and you put them into fields so that if I want people who own 2-story homes, I can sort my database and pull out the 2-story homes. So a database is only as good as the way you build it. And it is a system. It's a system for you to easily retrieve your clients, your whatever marketing you want to do. You want to target market. I was saying, you've heard this 100 times probably. If you market to everyone, you market to no one. You have to have a target market. So you have to have good systems so that you can scale your business. And what do we mean by scale? Well, the average real estate agent makes about $36,000 a year. It's probably maybe 40 now with inflation, and prices have gone up a little bit. But the point being that, that's pretty close to poverty. But a lot of people get into the business just to make extra money, not to build a business. So I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the people that want to build a business. And so scaling is very important, so that as you get more clients, your systems that you have in place continue to feed data and information to your client database. What's a database? Go get a farm. And we'll talk about that in just a second, because I could go on all day about how you build a farm, but I won't. But I just want to tell you, you've got to get a farm. So we're going to talk about 10 marketing musts that you must do, and you should be thinking about and executing on right now in order for your business to grow and scale. So here we go. By the way, if you're new to the YouTube channel or to the group, please make sure to subscribe and then hit the little bell icon in YouTube so that you can receive alerts when we go live. And our schedule this summer is going to be a little bit all over the place. We're doing some different things behind the scenes, and so that's taking up a lot of my airtime, if you will. So get notified, and I'm trying on Be Live to notify you ahead of time so that you can hit that bell as well. I should probably do it a day ahead of time so that you get notified. My bad, but we'll clean that up. Anyway, let's talk about some knots, or maybe knots in terms of what a lot of agents mistakenly spend their time and energy doing when you're new, or when you're just getting back into building your business. Because, you know, there is, whether you can see it or not, that your time is strategic. It's your strategic competitive advantage. And what you choose to do with your time, and that's up to you. And some use of times are better than others, and I want to focus on the right ones. So we're going to talk about how to spend your time. So what are some of the time sucks that a lot of agents immerse themselves in the beginning because they don't know what to do? Nobody gave them any roadmap. So they get stuck designing business cards, letterheads, stationery, writing the perfect biography, or crafting the perfect website. But the reality is there are all good things that you can do in time, and now's not the time to be maybe wasting your time doing those things. It's a little bit premature. So there's still a lot of learning that has to happen, and you have to determine who you are in this profession, and who you stand for in your community, and what are you all about. So trying to create a perfect bio, gosh, it's too easy for these things. I mean, you can use AI now to do that. You know, give them, here's some of the things that you want the AI program to create a bio for you, and make it professional with a professional tone. We talked about prompts for AI last week. So that should be the least of your worries. So when you're new, so if you're new to your brokerage or brand or firm or whomever, get the email, get the business cards, get the stuff that they set you up with, and then get going. Get moving forward, because there's a big difference between being busy and being productive. So today we focus on productivity. There's still marketing musts to grow and scale your business. And maybe you're in a position where your business isn't what it was last year or the year before, which is relatively characteristic in this current marketplace. So don't beat yourself up, but notwithstanding, I'm here to encourage you to step into a state of growth. So that, if that's you, whether you're a new agent or not, listen up. Starting with weekly email newsletter to your sphere of influence, which means there's a prerequisite to do that. You need an organized list. In other words, you need a CRM, but don't go crazy trying to find a perfect CRM. I'll put a plug in for Agent Formula right now. I think we have one of the best CRMs out there because it's simple. It's not complicated, and it comes with your website. Anyway, I digress a minute, but it's important because I created it to be simple, and I created Agent Formula for you to have all the tools that you need so that you don't get wrapped up into doing those things that basically someone else has already done for you and done a pretty good job. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Seth Godin, but he's been writing books ever since I can remember. And he also writes quotes every weekly, and he does articles. And Seth Godin said, what are you going to do with that duck? And the entire idea behind it is, rather than spending all your time getting your ducks in a row, recognize that you have a duck. And so what are you going to do with the duck that you've got? And so in the spirit of that same idea from Seth Godin, you don't need the perfectly segmented, organized CRM. We just need a list we can work. And so we kept it simple. You need to get your sphere of influence contacts into that CRM. And if you don't have the website and you don't want to invest in the Agent Formula website, use a spreadsheet. And if you go to Tom Ferry's YouTube channel, there's a tool called a memory jogger, and we can link it up in the description as well. And when we some of the classes that we teach, we give people, I think it's 100 Days to Greatness, we give you 100 different categories of people that you may be overlooking that could be in your sphere of influence. So, and then Tom Ferry also has 140 questions that will help jog your memory about who belongs in your sphere of influence. Friends, family, past relationships, your personal network, who belongs there that we want to market to and establish our brand. Once you got your list organized, then you're in a position to start that weekly email newsletter. Now, you can use a tool like Agent Formula. We have the ability, we create the newsletter for you. You just put in whatever you want. Now we do the daily blog. You can copy and paste the daily blog into that. And then you just send it out to your sphere of influence. So start now recognizing that ultimately the reason somebody's going to hire you in this profession is because they know, like, and trust you. But it's not a sense of personal trust. It's not, I trust you to watch my dog this weekend. It's, I trust you to help me make the largest investment in my life and to help me buy a property, to help me sell a property, to help me invest in real estate. Know, like, and professional trust in a newsletter whereby you are curating what's happening in the industry, what's happening in the local and the national marketplace, and how does that make sense through the eyes of a homeowner, through the eyes of a wannabe homeowner. How can you demonstrate expertise in a newsletter every single week whereby you are creating thought leadership amongst your own database? Your newsletter could be an essay you wrote. It could be that daily blog that we give you. It could be, we have 1,000 different articles on that website that you can pick from. It can be a landing page for people who want to get a relocation guide or a buyer's guide or a seller's guide or a rent versus buy guide. All types of things that you can put in that newsletter. So your newsletter could also, if you have something particular about yourself or something particular about your neighborhood, you can use a tool like ChatGPT or Bard from Google to help you write better copy for those blogs or newsletters. And it could be an essay, effectively, where you give your perspective on what's happening in the business and establish that thought leadership. Or if you're making content on social media, which I'm going to get to, it could be a repurposing or redistribution of that content. Just be the knowledge broker, be the expert, and leverage email. Email is the GOAT. It is the greatest of all time in terms of marketing channels, and it is still working. If you aren't new to this show, you know I'm a huge fan of email because I talk about it all the time. So my advice is, from the very get-go in your career, start building a list in your CRM and start emailing them with value-added content that positions you as a knowledge broker. Now, when you get into this business, you don't know what they don't know. They don't know what you know. And so the object of the game is to get them to know, like, and trust your professionalism because you are giving them valuable information. In your newsletter, don't get stuck in designing the perfect template. Again, I've already done that in Agent Formula for you, but if you want to do it yourself, that's up to you. But it's about the content. It's about sharing your knowledge. And I keep saying it again, it's busy work versus being productive. Let's be productive. In your email, you want to make sure to include basic calls to action. And don't go overboard. Not in your face. Mr. Alburn, can you turn off your phone? This is a value-added email, but you should invite people into working with you. You know, you can put a little search for available homes where they can search for homes, or maybe a home valuation tool. Hold on just a second. Thank you. Sorry. It could be a click here to book a meeting with me. It could be click here if you want a quick evaluation of your home of Las Vegas, because you're not just maybe some of so many people come here from other parts of the United States and the world that they may be wondering, well, what's going on in Vegas, because you're emailing to people that don't live here. There's so many things. A listing consultation. But the whole point is you need a call to action. Okay. And if you look at our landing pages that we have, there's lots of calls to action in there. And then when you've earned the right to call folks, okay, into action because you've demonstrated knowledge and expertise, that's the next step. So don't be afraid of those calls to action. So somebody might say, oh, I do want to know what's going on in my neighborhood. Just say it. Just want to know what's going on in my neighborhood. And you can say, if you want to know what's going on in our neighborhood here, just text me neighborhood, and I will send you. Now you have their phone number now when they text you, right? So now you can not only email them, but now you can text them, and now you can even call them. So whether you're on a team or you're operating solo, you're running a business, and therefore you need to invest in how you grow and scale that business to achieve the goals you set out. Get Agent Formula for all the tools you need. I'm just saying. So number 2, that was number 1, email. Well, your foundation is your database. Now you're going to email to that database with a newsletter. So the second marketing must do is to create a monthly or perhaps a quarterly market report. Oh boy, where are you going to get one of those, huh? Oh, I do one as often as I'm live. My goal is, of course, 3 times a week. We give you what's going on in the market. So you already have that information in front of you to share. You don't have to spend the hours that it takes to go out and accumulate it, put it in a presentable format. It's all done for you. So all you have to do is I put it in the group. You can get it from the group. Again, Kane's in the process of getting us to where we email you those things automatically so that you don't have to search for them. And then you can share them in an email. You can share them, print them out and share them, which you should do because you're always meeting people. Just a little bonus hack there, wear a badge. You know, I'm Joe Smith with ABC Realty, and maybe your phone number on there, or maybe a slogan that you have. Anyway, so you create, or perhaps you create or use my market reports of your neighborhood. You can do one as well. Your immediate vicinity where you live, where you do life, and hand deliver it to the neighbors. Now you might think that's a lot of work. Well, guess what? This is a job, and there is a lot of work. And you know why there's not a lot of rock stars in real estate? Because they don't want to work this hard to be a rock star. So there's a person in Tom Ferry's ecosystem, and his name is Andy. We'll just use his first name. And he's one of the top producing agents in America. And he still hand delivers a monthly market report to all the neighbors, which gives him proximity because they get to know each other. They become accustomed to seeing him. They start to associate him with selling and working in this neighborhood, and he's building professional trust because he lives in the neighborhood. And when they hear their neighbors thinking about selling, they tell him. And so he's got ears all over the place in terms of where opportunities are coming up. And nobody knows his immediate neighborhood like him because he has the gift of having relationships with everybody in that community. Does that take time? Yes, it takes time. Do you have time when you're new? Yes, you have time when you're building a business. You have time. So my advice to you is don't make it complicated. Don't make fancy graphs and charts. Use mine if you want to. I would suggest that. And done is better than perfect. Now, if you want to, as you grow into this business, you might want to hire somebody that's great at Canva or whatever and repurpose things and make them look jazzy and what have you, because you're going to take the other steps to build your business. But for now, use what I have and just start going around with your neighbors. So In the same way that your newsletter is an opportunity for you to place your knowledge and expertise in the inboxes of your subscribers, know, like, and trust. Professional trust is what you're trying to achieve. So, number 3, what kind of a marketeer would I be if I did not talk about the importance of video? Now, in the same way that your newsletter and is the opportunity, so is videos. Videos operate much the same, whereby it's a way to be in the feeds of your followers who are probably friends, family, sphere of influence, contacts, presumably. And they see you in the feeds and they're establishing the trust because they sense you have some expertise. So let's see. We're walking our neighborhood. We're sending out emails. And now we're going to do videos. I think we're building a business. There's three types of vertical videos I would focus on, and I've covered this in prior shows. If you want to look for those episodes on the 3 vertical videos, number 1, I would just tell you what we call talking heads. And normally what I'm doing when I'm on the whole screen, that's a talking head. And I'm talking to a camera. And I'm demonstrating knowledge and expertise in my subject matter. And you can do the same thing. Now, it be vertical. You're probably watching on YouTube, perhaps, but you could crop this and make it vertical as well. So if it's horizontal, you can crop it and make it, let's see if I could do this here. Probably shouldn't go down that rabbit hole today. We won't go down that rabbit hole today. However, this platform that I'm using is called BeLive, BeLive, and it has the ability to do vertical videos. And then you can edit those. You can create them here on this platform, for instance, and then you can add your text or add a call to action for posting it on Reels or Shorts or something like that. So you can demonstrate expertise through giving advice and sharing tips and chronicling your journey of learning, and at the same time showing your path to competence and therefore your trustworthiness. Again, that big word, because you have demonstrated expertise. So the second is local spotlights. Spotlight on your community. My gosh, the Golden Knights just won. What an event that is, right? And those neighborhoods that you might want to walk to and walk around. So this cool new trail system, maybe there's a new coffee shop, literally grab your iPhone, grab your Android, and if you have one of those, and flip the camera around and start touring and showing off your community. A new listing, something that just sold, something that just came on the market for rent. Anyway, let folks know that you're immersed in the community and that you know what's going on and you know how people are living, so you can be a champion of helping folks achieve that lifestyle. The third type of vertical video to focus on is property tours. Now, there's so many neat apps out there. I think Linda Eden and I did a hyperlapse Instagram video of a listing that I had, probably the only one I've had in a long time because I don't do that. It was just a referral. But anyway, it was fun, and the hyperlapse made it even more fun. And I saw that the $1 Million Man from New York, Sean, just recently did one. And I'm thinking, gee, I should do a show just dedicated so that you all can do them, because I think it would be a great marketing tool for you. But I digress a little bit. But again, the videos and the property tours. And then what I'm saying is, so you can speed that property tour up using hyperlapse and then talk while it's hyperlapsing, but your voice isn't hyperlapsing. So you do the video tour first, and then you overlay it with your voice talking about what they're seeing. Like this is a great bathroom, and then look at this primary bedroom, and oh my gosh, you can see the pool from the French doors. I mean, and you're talking while the viewer is seeing this hyperlapse video, which holds their attention. That's why they invented that, because it holds people's attention. So you think, well, I don't have any listings. How am I supposed to do that? I'm willing to bet there are many kind and benevolent agents at your office who have listings and would like them to be shown, right? Because I want to sell them. And then they can say to the seller, oh, I've got some other agents that are friends of mine, and they're going to do some tours if it's okay with you, and do some videos on Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and Facebook. And who's going to say no to that, right? I don't know. Um, they should definitely want to say yes. I have to be careful. I'm a broker. I don't want to put my broker's hat on. I got my marketing hat on. Anyway, so you should reach out to them and get, of course, their consent. Rockstar clients, another one of Tom Ferry's, his name is Kyle, and he does that all the time. And then there's this person, I'll give you the whole name, Ray Allen, does it all the time, and they get consent and they tour property. But what it does, it shows your followers, who once again are likely your sphere of influence contacts, that you're out there working, and that you're out there showing properties and visiting properties and knowing what's on the market, and knowing that this was a Pulte home, or this was a Toll Brothers home, and this was a Christopher home. And so you're giving them knowledge, and whatever you say, whatever adjectives you put onto there, is you're imparting your knowledge with them. And you should reach out to them and ask them for their express consent, or their express opinion. What do you think of this home? Always, interact with them, engage, be conversational. So let's be candid. When you're new, nobody talks about this, but the reality is all your friends, family, and folks who are like, oh, they're in real estate now, I wonder how they're going to do it. They have an arm's length removed reservation because maybe they don't want to be the lab experiment of your getting your sea legs in real estate. And that happens. So it's a harsh conversation to have, but it is a reality. And I think once you have some videos behind you, your emails going out there, and you're doing these videos, and they're going to see you in different places, they're going to see how serious you are. And again, you're building trust, even in your own family and circle of friends. So folks have that sense of, do they know what they're doing? I want to let them get a few deals under their belt before I give them my business and before I consider working with them. However, when you chronicle and demonstrate yourself in the field, showing properties and the like, wow, they really got going quick. They must be really good at this. So you see how quickly what you're out there doing is changing people's minds. The know, like, and trust, it is. Excuse me. So number 4, start hosting a professional networking group of some kind. Now, it could be vendors, it could be mortgage brokers, it could be insurance agents, other professionals and entrepreneurs in town, or maybe you have a network that exists out of town because maybe you came from another place. So it could be a virtual type of mastermind with other agents around the country who are part of the ecosystem that you've created over time. Maybe part of the network of your brand, if there's offices all over the country, for instance. If you're a RE/MAX agent, they're everywhere. Berkshire Hathaway, they're everywhere. Coldwell Banker. So things like that, you need to kind of think outside the box, where you can reach out to people who, and it doesn't just have to be a company franchise. You could be working on a designation to get your CRS or something, and reach out to other agents across the country that maybe have their GRI or their CRS or their ABR, their accredited buyer's representative designation. So all those things are avenues for you to build your know, like, and trust and your brand. And generating referrals should be a major part of the business, and they just don't come from a sphere of influence. I don't know if you've seen the show where I put up all those different companies that you can, I think there's 25 of them that you can go in and put all your information in, excuse me, and you can start being seen out there on when people are looking for an agent, perhaps in, that they like the way you look. I'm trying to think of, yes, you're new, but they don't know that, and they say, oh, look, she has a dog sitting on her lap or something like that. So when you do a picture, think of what you're trying to project. What you want is to get people's attention. So I know lots of agents have their little brand, like Pinky. Pinky knows Naples, and my friend John and his dog Billy. I mean, there's just all kinds of ways that you can draw attention to yourself without just a straight mugshot when you go in these referral sites, and have a jazzy bio. And you can use ChatGPT or another AI program to develop that. And always remember to tell them what tone you want it in: friendly, conversational, professional, funny, whatever. Okay, number 5. It's to go ahead and start cranking the wheel in terms of getting reviews on a Google business profile. And if you don't have a Google business profile, just go to google.com/create and follow the steps to fill it out and create a profile. So we've done lots of programs here about the Google business profiles, but there's a lot of optimizations that can go into it. But the biggest obstacle you're going to face as a new agent is getting referrals. Because play it out like this, okay? Imagine you meet someone, and you're at a hockey game or a restaurant, and y'all get talking, and they find out that you're in real estate. And there's a really good relationship and bond that you think you could build and turn into some business, right? Well, I'm willing to bet you that they're going to Google you. This is harsh but true. If they only find one review or no reviews, that may not bolster up the confidence you're wishing it would have in terms of solidifying that relationship for business opportunities. So the sooner you can start generating reviews, the better. Now, there are platforms like Zillow, for instance, that can get a review if there's an associated closing with it. So there has to be a deal, has to be a transaction closed to get a review. But your Google business profile isn't like that. Anybody can give you a review. A friend of yours will say, "Oh my gosh, I have known Linda for years, and she is one of the most honest persons, and she's in real estate, and she is just going to soar like a star." Something like that. So the sooner you start getting the reviews, the better. You can begin getting reviews immediately on Google. So I leave you with the review and you can say, "I'm going to give you, text them." When you say you're going to text somebody, they have to give you their phone number. So you're going to text somebody and say, "I'm going to give you a place where you can go and give me a review." They have been so gracious in terms of coming prepared at every showing. They have the comps, and they've been so helpful in terms of lining up all my appointments. And they could focus on that aspect of having worked with you if it's somebody who's worked with you. The point is to start cranking the wheel of getting reviews. You're going to need reviews your entire career. So make a process out of the gate to get and generate reviews. And I would tell you that the Google business page is such a wonderful place where you can put your landing pages, you can put your website, you can put your products. And guess what products are, everybody? The houses. Yeah, you can put houses on your Google business page. And I mean, every day, just add another one. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? You have time, remember? So number 6, we're at number 6 already. We're over the hump. So we're going to start doing CMAs, comparative market analysis, for your sphere of influence. So if you struggle with that, I don't understand how to do it. Well, that's a conversation with a friend, an agent, or even your broker to get trained on how to create a comparative market analysis. I remember there was a couple agents a few years ago, and I think I must have done a couple of shows about showing people how I do it, and have done it over the years. And so they started calling me and asking me for help. And it was just amazing. I said, "Well, I don't mind doing it, but what about your broker?" Well, they didn't want their broker to know that they didn't know how to do it. So who cares what people think? Come on, just be in control of your own business. Remember, your own strategy. So anyway, the reality is that you can share that information and influence contacts that maybe bought a house with some other agent in the past, for instance, and they've been living there for a bit. And if you can help them understand that what their property is now worth and what their equity position is because of appreciation and changes in the marketplace, being the bearer of that information can get you in on a deal And if they decide to list because you were the one who gave them the details. CMA. So I was mentoring someone earlier this year, and I said, okay, go to your neighborhood every day on MLS. See what just listed, see what just sold, see what just went under contract. Whenever there's any activity, go to 5 houses to the right, 5 to the left, and 5 across the street, and do 15 CMAs based on their home. Print it out, do a little letter, handwrite it or type it. The important thing is that when you put that letter and that CMA in the envelope, you handwrite your name and address and their name and address. Handwriting, not a label. But maybe you only want to do 3, 3, and 3. But do them every day and get them out there, because there's activity. That listing is going to sell. And then guess what? Now you can do a follow-up. Oh my gosh. The house that came on the market when I sent you the CMA, now it's under contract. And I will let you know as soon as possible what it's sold for. And that will give you a better idea of what your home is worth, unless you want me to come by and do a personalized market analysis once I know what you've done to the backyard and maybe upgrades you've done in your home. Simple, simple, simple. And you have to be sincere. I was telling somebody the other day, if you're in this for the money, you're in it for the wrong reason. The Bible says it's a sin if you have the love of money. It's love of money, that you're in love with money. It's not a sin that you're working for money. But at the same time, you have to love the people, and then you'll make the money. But if you love the money, you can't make the people. It doesn't work that way. So if you don't like to talk to people, learn how to talk to people, or maybe you need to get in a different business. Maybe you love real estate, but maybe being in front of people isn't what you want to do. Make that decision early on. Don't be in the business 2 to 3 years and say, oh, I should have been a videographer. I should have been a transaction coordinator. I should have been a virtual assistant. You've got to have some soul searching here. Okay. Anyway, when you tell people what their home is worth and you personalize it, like dear Jennifer, the house down the street just went on the market. And so I thought I would run a market evaluation of your home in case you're interested how it compares with the house that went on the market. So, and then I've included the comparables from the multiple listing service to show you, what the value of your home may be. And I'll follow up with you when the home sells. And then when that home sells or goes under contract or sells, say, hey, it's me again. Hey, Jennifer, it's me again. I just want to follow up and say, the house sold down the street for $450,000. And based on that, that would make your house approximately $460,000. However, I don't know what you've done to the backyard or upgrades you've done on the inside. I'd love to come by and give you, my personal evaluation of what your house is worth if you're interested. Anyway, that's conversational. It's gentle, and you're offering something to them. So, and you can say, why am I doing this? Because this is what I do. You got to find your voice. Everybody has to find their voice. I say some really stupid things sometimes. And then I say, that was stupid. I didn't mean that. And people, it's self-deprecating, yes, but it's true. But people find that there's humility in that we're not all those big egotistical salespeople, waving a flag of how good you are, the vanity people. Anyway, back to this, number 7. Oh gosh. Now, number 7 is to set up all your online profiles, all your social media, Zillow, your realtor, all the profiles there and everywhere, and to establish your personal brand. Now, so when you think of, you need to use the same picture across all the platforms. You need to have the same information. Now, but maybe with a little twist. You can have Chat GPT. I'll use that as the app example, and go in there and write your profile, and then say, make it make it more professional if you're going to put it on LinkedIn. If you're going to put it on Instagram, let's say, and you want to say, make it fun. And if you're going to put it on TikTok, say, write a short profile for my TikTok page. Okay. So tell ChatGPT where it's going. And it can be the same thing you're giving it. It's going to come back with different renditions of it. And that's very important. Remember that your vibe attracts your tribe. So, if you're just very dry and there's no fun in it and there's nothing outstanding about it, we all have something to talk about. Maybe you're a mother, maybe you're a father, maybe you have dogs, maybe you have cats, maybe you have a horse farm, maybe we all have a life. And that the whole point is that I'm making is that you need to share your life with other people so that they know who you are. And then the consistency of you being in front of them will create your vibe and then your tribe. There's another book, I think Seth Godin wrote it, Find Your Tribe. Okay, so where are we here? Yes, what's going to be your stick? What is going to be the essence by which you're known for? I know a lot of agents who are data driven. I'm data driven. Man, give me numbers. I love it. And they know the numbers, the economics, and they become the go-to resource for anybody who has a similar wiring. Okay. And they want to understand the numbers of the decision. But many people don't like numbers. They don't. They want to go have fun, or they're more family oriented, so you can't be everything to all people. You have to be yourself and attract people who are attracted to you. Make that vibe cause people to be attracted to you, because then you're creating your tribe. Your vibe creates your tribe, and you can't be all things to all people. And if there's any mistake I see new agents make, that's it. They just want to splash the world with the same thing, and it doesn't work that way. So I know agents who are all about community, lifestyle. They're just plugged in and they know how to get you in all the different points of access. I mean, I know one of my friends, Sandy, my gosh, every time she is a fantastic cook. And she would make a plate and take a picture of it. She will go to a restaurant and take a picture of it. And so there's a lot of people that are into food, and they're going to follow her because she does that. That's a simple analogy I can make. So, so you're still early in the game if you're new, and you can evolve. And yeah, you're going to change. You might go down one track and say, oh, I think I like this other one better. This one, I'm getting more response when I do this than when I do that. So it's learning, it's growing, and this is your first album, right? You're going to release future records, and as an artist, if you follow my metaphor, you're going to evolve. But you have to have some kind of a centralized core offering in terms of this is who I am and what I'm bringing to the marketplace. And that's why we talk about giving people numbers, giving people CMAs, doing emails with the daily blogs, perhaps from our website, or you can get those yourself somewhere. But anyway, you're evolving and you are showing people that you are on top of it. Consistent communication. John always says, my husband, sales is a contact sport, and it really, really is. So there's a relatively new agent in Chicago, and her name is, she's created a brand. She follows Tom Ferry and Jason Pantana. And so she goes by Hat and Heels Realtor when she's on Instagram. And her brand is a ball cap and heels. Ball cap, not like a fancy hat. It's a ball cap and her heels, right? Now, I'm not saying you have to go to that degree to come up with that clever name, like a stage name or anything. She did it and it works for her. And she's crushing it in her business. And she's new, but she's drawn attention. And she's also doing other things on the other social media platforms, not just Instagram. And I'm sure she's she's emailing and things like that. Probably a lot of the things that we're talking about here, because she was a Tom Ferry. She is coached by Tom Ferry. So I'm pretty sure she's doing all these things. So I'm saying it's worth giving some thought. Uh, when I look at myself and my skills and what I naturally possess, and I consider the range of my experiences before I got into real estate, um, what path makes the most sense for you, and where can you give the most value? And what is your personal brand? So set up the profiles, but also think through, what is my brand? So keep that in mind. They go hand in glove, because the profiles are the presence where your brand is positioned. This is a mouthful, but I think you get it. Set up your profiles and bear in mind, how do I make them matchy? Well, how do I have a core offering to the marketplace in terms of who I am as a professional in my town? I don't know. Number 8. We're at number 8. Almost an hour here with me. Number 8 is definitely a no-brainer, and it is to network your face off. Face-to-face, in-person networking, getting involved in the Chamber of Commerce, the Entrepreneur Center, your board of realtors, your brand, your firm, all the aspects of being belly to belly with people and networking and shaking hands and building relationships. But it's just in person. It's also comments and in DMs. There are audio rooms like Clubhouse, for instance, and you can meet people there. Get to know and influence your community, because something I've observed in the past, generally speaking, the newer agents who must quickly rise to a high level of production are very networked. Now, this may be uncomfortable for you. Perhaps you're more of an introvert, but my advice is you find your way to do this. Number 9, go all in on open houses. A lot of agents don't like doing open houses, and they are missing the boat big time. I spoke with an agent not long ago, and they said that now they did open houses 5 or 6. They were doing either 5 or 6 times a week, and then sometimes they would do 3 or 4 a day, because their goal was to do 10 a week. And they built a database of thousands of people in 1 year by doing open houses. It's a target. You go into Kentucky Fried Chicken to get Kentucky Fried Chicken. You go into a house because you want to see, it might be a neighbor saying, oh, how does this house compare to my house? But you're meeting people, and people are coming there they're looking to buy a house. Maybe they're looking to sell a house. Maybe they're renting and they want to buy. Anyway, the people that come to open houses, it's an incredible way. It's an incredible way to build your business. And you're in action, and you're maybe creating CMAs. So when the neighbors come in, you have something to give them, or when other people come in, you can show them, something comparable. Have other, there's all kinds of open house classes. You could probably YouTube it and find out all the different things that you can do to make it a success. So number 10, work with the neighbors around your offices with the actives, pendings, and close. And I kind of touched on this earlier. It's the deals from the other agents at your brokerage. Now, I don't know where what your brokerage is, and you might want to talk to your broker. But my thinking is, with consent, of course, when your office is selling in a certain area, perhaps the door knocking or circle prospecting a community, what would stop you from letting folks know what's happening in their market in terms of what your office is doing? Now, that's a little tricky one. I don't know. If you work with a team, that might work perfectly well. Anyway, there's a lot here. You might be thinking you have less time than you thought from the very beginning, and the reality is that's a true statement. A lot of agents get lost in minutiae, small details, trivial matters, and they aren't going to move the needle in terms of generating and building your business. The marketing musts are going to move the needle in terms of generating business. So whatever you're committed to, if you want to reach out to me, if you want some further instruction, Jimmy and I wrote a class called Be the CEO of Your Life. It delves into some of these things and then even more. It's a 3-hour course that we give. Anyway, I have got to scoot. I got 20 seconds and I've been on an hour. I'm probably talked your ear off. Yeah. Sorry about that, but you can go back to this. This is the website we're talking about. That's Jimmy Dague featuring it. And what's important now, that's a great thing to keep in mind. There's many ways to learn about direct mail to your geographic farm. And again, if you do CMAs and open houses and walk the neighborhood, people are going to learn to know, like, and trust you, the object of the game. I love you all. We're having a class on Thursday for risk reduction from 10 to 1. And on Friday, it's agency from 1 to 4. Jimmy teaches that one. Kane teaches the risk reduction. Jimmy teaches agency. And we will see you soon. I love you all. Bye-bye.